Ladies Who Glow Places. We're ambitious women glowing and going. Real talk for women glowing through life.
Wellness, wisdom and women going places with it in business or travel.
Living well, laughing lots and loving life. For women who believe life can only get better. We are 3 women who live by these values.
I'm Judi.
I'm Gill.
And I'm Carol.
Thank you for joining us.
So Judi, what's been happening in business this week?
So we've had a busy week. Yeah, we've been through in Edinburgh. We have given a sound bath. We had a little yoga session.
Sound bath sounds interesting.
Have you not done
I've
one?
never done. Well, I've been sort of at the sidelines, but not really participated in it.
Yeah, it's really good. It's really good, and it's like drums, and the girl who gave it the other day actually used like wee tambourine things, and it was like so and what the music does is it heals you.
Oh, it does.
But you can
A
also
certain level of hertz it is, and
Hertz.
it vibrates through your body and aligns your
chakras.
Yeah.
But also, have you heard about the one that they can do in the swimming pools? And it's meant to be
We want to do
700
that.
times more.
because it goes through the water
Yeah,
as well.
so
All
it's
the
meant to be
vibration goes through the
700
water
times
as well.
More sort of
So it
like-
gets you from all angles.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, so obviously sort of working away, just doing our massages, and that's a couple other things we've done this week. So it's been nice,
Good.
good.
So travelling about.
Yeah.
What about yourself, Jill? How's it been?
It's been good. It's busy. I do lots and lots of driving, so I'm down to Ayrshire quite a lot, which is amazing. And I've been seeing some results coming from kids that I've been working with for a while. So that's been really nice because like I'm working with some children who are trying to children and young people who are trying to improve their attendance at school because they maybe feel anxious about leaving the house or, coming into school because their brain is creating a feeling of it not being a safe space, but it is. So I've been helping them take control of those anxious thoughts and remember that they're in charge. And I've had someone who has come to me who has attended school every day.
That's
amazing.
amazing.
That's
for
lovely.
3 weeks
That's
that I've
so
been
nice.
working with
That's
her.
That's
so
great.
So yeah, seeing really
Good
quite
results.
remarkable, results from that. So I'm so pleased. It's so nice to be able to make a
So,
difference.
so Jill, if anybody's listening that maybe
Uh-huh.
knows of someone in that situation or is probably maybe faced with it with their own child, should they just message us and we can
Absolutely,
try and help in
yeah,
any way?
absolutely, and speak to your school as well because we are the children's school, not your school, because what we do is we particularly specialise in going into schools and working with the children and young people in schools. So absolutely messages,
Yeah.
but also speak to the schools because we are on the majority of the frameworks for Central Scotland. So that means that we're allowed to work with the schools you've got to be on these things to be able to be allowed to go into the schools. So yeah, give us a shout because I'm seeing, honestly, it's I'm so blessed to do the work that I do, and I help young people nurture their own mental health. So it's really about just providing quite simple coping techniques and strategies for you to put in to your own daily life, and it really helps. And it all comes from the fact that when I struggled to cope, these are the things that I did, and now I teach them to young
Do
people.
you think in the future that they'll offer it in all schools?
That's the goal, Judi.
Yeah,
That's the
you
goal.
know, wouldn't that be a
Yeah,
bit an idea?
It should be. I think every single child in every single school should be offered this. But the problem is for me, I think there's a bit of an issue because what they'll do is they'll say, okay, here's a 2-hour course on mindfulness, and then, somebody
Should be
can go in
fixed,
and then
yeah.
that'll be it fixed. I studied for years to be able to get these qualifications. And the things I teach are not rocket science, but understanding that and being really authentic with it, and having people who live and breathe this as a life teaching it is the only way it's going to work for me. It's not a stick and plaster where you go to somebody and they say,
Yeah, of course.
here's a quick half
of
hour,
course.
and that'll be you fixed. It doesn't work
Doesn't
like
work
that.
that way.
It's a huge topic. It's a
Isn't it?
huge
Yeah.
topic.
So Carol, what about you this week?
So now I feel a little bit I'm not as fulfilled
What
as
about,
that.
what was your
So
what was
we've-
your gin of, what was your cocktail of the week,
Oh,
Carol?
the cocktail of the week this week was our strawberry. I can't say it.
Strawberry?
It's strawbellini.
Strawbellini.
Oh,
Oh,
Carol,
lovely,
I would love
Carol.
that.
So it uses our pink shimmer gin. It uses crushed strawberries, a little bit of sugar syrup to give it a wee bit of sweetness for the strawberries, topped with prosecco.
Oh, that sounds lovely. Carol. It sounds quite light as well.
Yeah, it's very
Yeah.
easy to drink.
I like a Bellini,
I
and
know,
that sounds
that's nice.
right up my
Really
street.
nice and summery as we're coming into summertime.
So see, because you do your nice lives, don't you, on a Wednesday night?
We do the Wednesday evening, our midweek cheeky kitchen cocktail.
So do you drink the cocktail or do you drink a few?
No, I just take the one. Sometimes I don't even drink it because it depends what I've got
Right, of
going
course,
on
of
that
course.
night.
Yeah,
if
in
I'm
case you're driving or whatever
Sometimes I
again.
put it to the side and I thought, right, I'll get that later.
Uh-huh.
But we've had a busy week as well. We had a couple of events at the weekend, so we were out and about down in Ayrshire and Beath and also in Lanark. So a bit of everything. So
We were travelling.
both were good. And then we had our collaboration with Charlotte Tilbury.
Yeah.
So that was a
Amazing.
great night. That was
Yeah,
really good.
yeah,
So
it
we
was
did
amazing.
a couple of cocktails, a Charlotte Tilbury masterclass, more cocktails, and then some shopping time.
Amazing. Yeah.
What-
The
What
store's
more can a
beautiful,
woman
isn't it?
ask
It's
for,
just
really?
The boudoir.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. It's just like you could stand and look into the
I
whole,
know,
and
I
there's
know.
it's so shiny and
I know.
isn't it? It's lovely.
Yeah. So
Lovely
that's
store.
what we've been up to.
Amazing.
That's good.
So this week, I think
Yes.
we were going to focus a little bit on scams, both personal scams, if anybody's been faced with that, which we all have been,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
business scams.
Yeah.
So they're everywhere right now. I don't know what, I mean, you see the adverts, you know, the one where the guy's sitting at his PC and somebody's coming offering him tickets for the theatre, the bank's
Yeah.
phoning him, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But so they're
Yeah.
everywhere. You have to really, really be alert.
I was reading up on it and they were saying like something as simple as like I obviously charge my car and I charge it when I'm out quite a lot, and they said that there's actually people that are putting like stickers over the top of things, even you know if you're going to put like something
catch
in
your card
to catch your
details.
card details. That was one of the simple ones that we're talking about.
You love a wee trip with Terence.
I love a
to-
wee trip
to
with
the
Terence and I
charging
love a
station.
charging station. So that kind of made me think, and they were saying how much this is becoming a thing.
Oh,
Also
like
as
getting the
well,
card
they were
details.
saying outside like football grounds and stuff, there was people with like card readers, and they were sort of coming up to you and saying, "Oh, Carol, would you like to donate to
Oh, I
the
hate
thing?"
those
And
things.
then you sort of say, and it's only £2,
yeah.
and then what you do is you tap on it, and then they have all your details, and they run away into the crowd, and you don't think them, and they take like so much off your bank. So that's scary as well.
Yeah.
Because how
That
many
is.
times have you thought, "Oh, that's a wee poor, oh, that's for the poor people," or I don't know, am I allowed to say that?
Yeah, no, it is.
Cut
It's
that out.
yeah,
It's for whatever it's
people
for.
who are
Say, you know,
a little less fortunate.
a little
than
less
us.
fortunate, and obviously you just think, "I'll tap that," and then that's them. They've got your good thingies.
That's
but
that's a good one actually, just to be
Yeah.
to be
Aware of.
How do you get round?
You need
number
to be
you don't give
aware.
them
don't
it.
give
So
your
much
But the
aware.
one with the charging stations, what
Yeah.
do you do?
you just make sure that you don't see any like kind of like stickers or whatever. So you always
Or like
check.
tampered
Uh-huh,
with.
yeah,
Yeah.
as if, and
Like you would do, I suppose, an ATM, eh? Like you make sure it's not like get the keyboard hanging off or anything.
But they were sort of saying that scammers are on it because what they do is they try, and this is also the phoning thing, they try and do it at night and during the night because that's when people feel vulnerable, lonely, when they haven't got family around them. So they try and catch them when they're they've actually
know
got
about
times
that,
that they sort of thing in. Another one which scares me immensely is they can actually take your voice
Oh, I know.
and clone your voice.
It's the
And
what do
that's
they
the
call
thing,
it?
your
Fake.
voice is your,
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
I
Your
remember
voice is your
actually saying
password.
my voice is my password into like something,
Yeah.
The bank.
Yeah.
you know, and then, but then somebody can
Somebody
steal
can
your
clone
voice.
your
You
voice.
don't,
Especially with
you
AI
don't own
now,
your own
so-
voice. Did you know
don't.
that?
Yeah, you don't. I know. Unless,
That
like, I
is
think
mad.
actors and stuff do, don't
Yeah,
they?
unless you make sure that you do that.
Matthew McConaughey, he's got the best voice in the world, hasn't he?
I like his voice.
Yeah. Anyway, so what they'd said
I like
about
Idris
about
Elba's
the,
voice too.
Yeah, this is good as well. What they said about the cloning the voice. So obviously it was like you could phone up your relative and say, oh, you know, like your hubby saying, oh, I'm stuck here, my car's broke down, and they'll think it's your voice. So what the scammers helpers had obviously said was that you should put up a password and that you should always question everybody because that's the new trend now. Because you think about it, I could phone you and say to you, oh, Jill, I need you, and you would obviously help
Right.
me, or you would say, oh, wait a minute, Judy, I'll give you some money. So always hesitate, always ask questions, and and they had sort of said that the best thing is to set up like maybe like a trigger word, like so if it's for your daughter and she's maybe away somewhere and you were to say to her like pineapple or something weird that you would know it was her. Do you know what I mean? So that's sort of their kind of like their sort of like
I know
guidelines to help.
I know, because it is getting so more sophisticated with
Oh,
AI.
So it's scary.
It's
Fake,
so bad.
That's what I was looking at. 'Cause I was watching that
Well,
program.
yeah.
Deep fake.
So that was kind of a couple of tips for them scams, because that's the kind of like easy. So they would call it a family emergency word. Especially if you got like kind of
good idea.
That's a
vulnerable
really
older
good
people
idea.
or people. Do you know what I mean? Even you. Do you know? Even me. You know, Carol could phone me and I could say, "Oh, it's Carol. She's needing money." I'd be the first person to whip out my number and give you.
Oh, would you?
Definitely.
That's good to know.
Friday night when I'm stuck in town.
Judy, come, please. I'm going to.
Can you give us some money,
Are
Judi?
you and Terence?
Carol, you know I would. You know I would do it. You know I would do it. So that's a couple of things. But I think that maybe if Jill doesn't mind, I know that you've got a personal thing that's happened to your family. That if you don't mind, having a wee chat about it.
Daniel's phoning. Daniel's always phoning when I'm doing a podcast.
Always.
But he's not getting answered. If he phones again, it could be an emergency. We might have to answer, but he'll understand. So actually, my mother has been subject to a couple of scams. The first one she was subject to was that one on, you get the text, "Hi, Mum. I've lost my phone. This is my new number.
Yeah.
I can't access my bank.
Yeah.
And my mortgage is due tomorrow. Can you send me £1,000 to these details?"
And did your mum do it?
Yep. She did it.
Oh, God.
She sent me a picture of, like, you know how sometimes if you do like a transfer to somebody, you'll send them a wee picture and go, "That's the money paid."
Yeah.
She sent me a picture like that. And I
that's
went,
how you knew it had happened.
and I phoned her back and said, what is that? That's not my bank details. Why have you sent? "Oh, but you texted." I said, "I never text you."
Your wee mum. Oh, bless her.
And that was her £1,000.
Did you get it back?
No.
No.
Never got it back. And since then, oh God, there's actually been another couple actually, but I'll probably not go into amounts because it's deeply, deeply personal and actually an open investigation with the Serious Financial Crime Squad at the CID. So the thing that my mum has been subject to is something that they call a Bitcoin reclaim scam. And what happened was my mum, turned out this was a bit of a scam as well, but a few years ago my mum had put some money into Bitcoin, but it wasn't like where she bought Bitcoin, like I could just go in and buy Bitcoin and then sell it and all that. Like, it wasn't like that. It was like there was somebody saying, "Oh, if you give us the money, we'll invest it in Bitcoin." But initially that was a scam. Right. But she had a little bit of money that she had come into, and then she went, "Oh, do you know what? I've lost too much money. I'm coming out of that." Now, at that time, if you'd have bought Bitcoin, she'd have ended up to that value. She'd have ended up in the money, right? But she didn't. She lost some money, quite a lot, a substantial amount. So we're talking 5-figure sums at this point. So she just got out of that, right? And that was 2018, I would say, right? So she got out of that, and then last year she got a phone call. It turns out to be the same people, but a phone call from who she thought was the Financial Conduct Authority, because they used the Financial Conduct Authority logo on WhatsApp, and it's a massive thing. It's a massive amounts of money. My mum borrowed against an unmortgaged home, and
so what did they phone and say?
They said initially, "We heard that you were subject to a Bitcoin scam. We have set up an area of the FCA specifically to help you get your money back from that."
Right, but
Did
to get
that
your money
happen?
back, you need to give us this.
You need to give us money to pay the tax on it. So what they had done is they had actually set up like a fake app. So when I went over and all of this came out, I looked at this app, And this app showed my mum to have a balance of over £300,000 in it, right?
Okay.
So this is what she was looking, and the thing, it tracked Bitcoin, right? It did track the price of Bitcoin, and it looked like you could transact on it.
Right. Okay.
Right, now when I looked at it, coming from financial services, you'll understand, Carol, as well. When I've looked at it, the first thing I did was try and transact on it. So I went, right, okay. And then what happened is they then phoned her. Why are you trying to do something through that?
Wow.
So they knew, so it was like a kiddie on
It was just like a face.
a frontage, yeah. But for my mum, that looked so real because it was also tracking in real time the price of Bitcoin. And if she had that much money in there, then that's how much her balance would have been going up and down. So it was very, very sophisticated. So, yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to think here without giving too much personal details, but they ended up, my mum lives on her own, and they kept in contact with her on a very, very regular basis. They had her running all over the place, making transactions from PayPal, from banks, borrowing money, moving money from one place to another. She was all like, and they just coerced her through the whole thing. It was actually huge, and the implication of what has happened, the consequences are so serious. My mum, doesn't keep very well quite a lot, and they preyed on that. They preyed on her vulnerabilities.
Yeah. So when did you find out, Jill, and how did you find out?
I found out because she told my stepdad. They're not together anymore, but they're very good friends. And he kept saying, there's something wrong. And eventually she broke down. And that was the day before they had arranged for one of these, like, not the brand you'll be thinking about, but one of these estate agents who come out and buy your house for less than what it's worth.
Right,
And blah, blah. Like, they were coming out the next day.
Oh, gosh.
And that was where it was going to go. And
people just take it to the next level, because they don't want to admit that it's a scam, or they don't want to appear that they're silly that they've been caught out by a scam.
Yeah, and by that time it had been going on, I mean, for...
Oh, your poor mum.
4 to 5 months.
Oh my goodness.
You know, the thing is, you can imagine the mental toll that had on her. Yeah. I'm not going to go into that in too much detail because it's really deeply personal to her. But you can imagine the place that it took her to. You know, it was bad, and they would have taken
everything,
every single penny she had. Now she's a pensioner.
No remorse,
no remorse. She's a pensioner. She's on her own. They would have got her to sell that house, took every penny, left her with tens and tens of thousands of pounds of debt and on the street. Yeah. That was what their aim was, you know. And they.
So if your stepdad hadn't
told you,
then would that, what would that have been within a couple of weeks, or would that have been? Do you get what I mean? So what the time?
I mean, they were due out the next day. That's
so the people
thing.
who sell the house. So
that's what they had arranged.
And they do it
for
as a
her to
fast sale as well.
Yeah, so they do, don't they? They're just
So
now you said that's under investigation.
Yeah.
Now.
So that was August of last year. So you know, we're looking now on a year it's under. You know, there's a lot of information. They are must be a massive organised crime.
That's what they do, don't
you
they?
know,
They just,
thing.
There's not just
because
one.
It's not just in one country either. So to give you an idea, like my mum was sending money to them, like tens of thousands of pounds a day, from all different places that she was getting told to get it from and getting coerced. You do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, all day, every day, throughout the time when she lost her brother, like the day after her brother's funeral, like when she keeps unwell for quite a lot of things. So when she had like hospital appointments, they were still on her. She was sending money in US dollars, Great British pounds, euros, Norwegian krona. So it's like a worldwide team of organised crime. So that's very much under investigation.
So I guess the moral of that story is, and the lesson learned, if it looks too good to be true, it is too good to be true.
Yeah.
So
just
the only difference is it took my mum quite a long time to believe them. But they just kept sending her different people. Because they must have spotted the vulnerability in her.
And just know that they
And
could keep
eventually
coming
there
back.
was one pair. And then, I mean, when we found out, I went over the very next day and I knew exactly. So we've put in, you know, complaints for lots of banks and different things. But they phoned her 25 times. That day I went over because they were obviously panicking and realised, because they would always phone her 5-6 times a day, like the minute 9 o'clock hit, do this with the bank, do that with the bank. Like, they were on her, they were asking her about me, they were asking her about her grandson, they were asking her about like everything personal. And they were getting annoyed. They were getting annoyed that you know, something had been spotted. And then we're trying to get me, tell Gillian we've got something for her and whatever. And then they were saying things like, you know, you have to go and meet this guy who's really buff and really strong and really tall, and he carries an army backpack and he'll be dressed fully in black, and don't be afraid of his gun. Like, he'll give you 15,000 in cash.
Like a bit of like intimidation, like
Absolutely,
you know.
they were intimidating her the whole time, and it was like coercion. Like they coached her through all the lending applications. They coached her through that. So they told her what to say, what the purpose of it was. They spoke about the income, what she was to say, like the income she was getting. Say that's how much you pay for that. Say how that's how much you pay for that. Like, every single part of that was under duress.
Whilst this was going on, did your mum say anything to you at all?
No.
Nothing at all?
Not a thing. Not a thing.
So many years was that then? Was that?
It happened. See, if I could tell you more about it, I would tell you more about it. But it happened over 5 months. And it was everything. Everything.
My goodness.
You know.
Well,
So yeah,
it just shows
be
you,
aware. Do you know, they nearly got me once. They nearly got me once, and working in finance, and I ended up on the phone, and they would ask me all these questions, kidding on they were my bank, which was Virgin Money, and they had again sent me a link. This is to prove who we are, blah blah blah. You know, sent me a link. It went straight to the Virgin Money website. It was like so sophisticated. So, and they were getting me. And I was on the phone for ages, and I remember said, listen, I need to go because I need to feed my son or something like that. And they said, no, you can't come off the phone, because if this happens, you won't. And I thought, no, wait a minute. See, the minute you're saying to put me under pressure to stay on the phone, that's something to be very aware of, because a real financial institution would never do that. They would not. They would be like, that's fine. I'll phone you back at such and such a time. It's never, ever a problem. You'll never be under any type of pressure like that from a real true bank or building society or whatever. Like, I know that. So that's something to very much be aware of if you ever feel under pressure to stay on the phone. Or if you say, I'm going to phone back and double check that, and they start to get a little bit nippy, that would never happen. That would never happen. So yeah, be aware of that.
Yeah. So I think this session's all about just being aware of everything that's going on. Don't take what you see as truth.
not even close family, not even.
And even if you've got somebody that's vulnerable like that, ask them questions. Just make sure that nothing's going on in the background. Yeah,
and that's the thing. Like, I remember saying to my mum after the first one, saying to her, I will never text you and ask you for money. Like, if I really need money, I'm going to phone you, and it's probably going to be a video call.
You come and talk to her.
You would speak to her. You would
text me, unless
and
you're abroad or something.
Can I have a grand? Text. Like, as if you're in the pub, like, send me a grand. Like, that's not going to happen.
No,
like,
send me over.
You know, just wire it to me. Exactly. Like, no, it's you know, you're going to say, listen, I'm in a pickle. Could you please
help me, Mum?
Could you help me? You know, you would go and see her, or you would at least do a video call so that she can see that it's you.
And
you know, like.
But then they say video calls, they could do that as well.
Oh, they better not have my face and my voice.
I think they've got everything.
Who am I? Why AI?
It's just so tough. It's just really tough to think that they can.
Yeah.
And they've got no. These people have got no
no
morals.
morals.
You know, they're
no
not,
models.
you
I mean,
know.
my poor mum was going to be in the street and hundreds of thousands of pounds a debt with no house.
Yeah.
Like, and as a pensioner, like, oh my God,
I
like,
don't care.
how do these people sleep at night?
I know.
And they speak to them every day for months and months, so they actually are building a relationship. Whether they're a criminal or not, they're still building a relationship. There's still a human connection there.
Exactly.
Do
And
you
they
ever
don't
go home
feel-
and think
they
about that person?
Probably not. They probably do it
Probably
all the
just
time.
sipping on their crystal champagne or whatever it is.
Sitting in their yacht in the middle
Other
of whatever.
forms of champagne are available, as is Ellis gin and
Of
rum.
course, Ellis Chim.
Conscious that we could probably talk about scams all day.
Oh yes, there's more and more.
I know. So for this episode, shall we say goodbye to our audience?
Yeah.
So
Thank you
long,
so much for
farewell.
tuning in. Please, please, please be safe out there.
Yeah.
Be cautious. Try and
safe.
take on some of the tips that we've said and be good to each other.
Yes.
We'll see you next week. Same
Thank
time,
you.
same place.
Bye.
Bye.